On July 23rd, 2017, I moved in with Rebecca Arview and Hillary Nicole Arview. My life at that point was a shambles. I had just gotten out of the hospital, and I was lucky to be alive. On July 18, or somewhere in that vicinity, my memory is sketchy for what will in a moment be obvious reasons, I went into the worst DKA of my life. My doctors tell me that in diabetic ketoacidosis, my blood essentially turns to acid and tries to kill me from the inside out. I was recovering from my second bout of pneumonia, and my ketones went nuts. I was lying in the motel room my nephew, Joe Eater, had been kind enough to get me when homelessness was staring me straight in the eye. I had managed to call off from work, a job I hated, selling direct TV to unsuspecting old ladies, and I laid on my bed, becoming violently ill. I remember 9 trips to the bathroom before passing out completely. My best friend, Stephanie Hansen, had been calling and texting me without response for most of the day, so since she was out of town, she finally sent the Mesa police to my motel. They pounded and pounded on the door, and I have a vague memory of getting across the room to open it and then collapsing on the bed again. I think I asked them not to arrest me, but I don't remember why. Perhaps it was the medical marijuana in my drawer. I assume the folks at Extended Stay took it when the rent for my room expired while I was in the hospital. Maybe it was seized by the police. I never got that back. Heartbreaking. My next memory is waking up what I am told was 2 days later. I was beyond sick. I had the only catheter I hope ever to experience. I could barely breathe. 3 days later, they sent me home. Stephanie got me a lift back to where I had parked my car at a doctor's office, and I managed to drive it back to the apartment Hillary had said I could share with them for a few days until the room I was planning to rent was ready. I pulled myself up the stairs and met Rebecca for the first time, although I have little memory of that moment. I knew Hillary from working for Alorica. I remember there was an air mattress on the floor in the extra room. I fell down on it, and I slept for more than 24 hours. I had the most vivid dreams of my life, and some of them still haunt me today. Everything I was able to save from my previous home was in a storage unit. I had an air bed I borrowed from the girls. I had my dog Melanie. I had nothing else in my possession. In less than a week, we decided I should move in. It would be cheaper for everyone. So the date that we actually moved in together would probably have been August 1st. And that's where I was 3 years ago. What happened in the following year? I found I have people who love me, and they came together to make my life better. They moved my possessions from my storage unit to the new apartment. I had my books back. It took months to unpack them and get them in the proper places on my bookshelf, but I managed it because I had friends. When, in October 2017, my car got repossessed, I had it back within less than 24 hours because I had friends. Their generosity not only got me my car back, but they gave me so much money that I could move from my airbed to a real bed. And I even got a desk where I could put my computer. I slept on that bed every night until another friend gave me a better one a few years later, and I sat at that desk for 2 years before it fell apart. Because I had friends. When we faced eviction because one of our checks didn't come through, again, my friends rallied around me and saved us all. we managed to avoid homelessness. Because I have friends. When the apartment complex declined to renew our lease, we all searched for somewhere to live. We were turned down repeatedly, and we were within hours of homelessness again when Stephanie found us a place that would take us. Hillary worked some miracles and found us the money for the enormous deposit that was required, and we were good to go. Except we had no means of moving. Within a couple of days, we had all of our possessions packed, because we had friends. And a couple of days later, we had everything moved into our new house, because we had friends. 1 year later, on July 23rd, 2018, I was writing this in a beautiful 3-bedroom, 2-bath house with a backyard for Melanie. I'm still broke. I'm still dodging repo men. I'm still not terribly healthy, but I am, in every measurable way, better off than I was 3 years ago. Because I have friends. That first year, for me, was about learning that my value to people has less to do with my financial and physical resources, which are almost entirely gone, and more with my intellectual and compassionate resources. I got to spend an amazing night with a woman with whom I had been secretly in love nearly 40 years ago, and she was as kind to me as I had been to her. She made me happy. I got to meet Valerie Bertinelli, with whom I have been in love quite publicly for more than 40 years. I made videos that have been viewed collectively more than 2,000 times. I've started a blog. I have an almost successful podcast. In that first year, I got a job I could do, and of which I was proud, and that pays me almost enough to live, so long as I have Hillary and Rebecca to help me. I want to pause here a moment to thank them for keeping me alive. I know I annoy the hell out of them. I don't shower often enough. I'm always absorbed in my podcast. I had a breakdown a few weeks ago. After 3 years together, everyone will get on each other's nerves. I've never been able to occupy the same space with other human beings for more than 5 years because, let's face it, I'm no good with people. I don't like them. They all scare the hell out of me. But we're still together. I'm grateful even when we're all annoyed. I wanted to be sure to say that. But more than any of that, I know that I am loved. And, strangely enough, I am deserving of love. That was the most startling discovery of those first 365 days. It took me most of the year to accept the truth of that. I learned the value of gratitude. I am grateful for all the people who have not only kept me alive, but have also made my life worth living, particularly when I have so often believed it was not. I have a good life now. It's light years from perfect, and it's a work in progress, but it's mine, and I am glad to have it. If you're still watching this as a video or listening to it as a podcast, be sure of one thing. I love you.